Hello. Today on the Pandemic Jam Sessions, we have a special July 1st episode in which we will play some tunes with significant or loose connections to the Battle of Gettysburg here on the 157th anniversary of its commencement, the first day of Gettysburg, to the date, Wednesday, July the 1st. So stay tuned for a couple of tunes. We're dressed with our 11 core bonnet here. We got our Gettysburg College t-shirt on. July 1st, coming at you. Hey, first tune for today on our special Gettysburg Pandemic Jam. Found out about this yesterday while reading through some scholarly works. I was reading Henry Fans's one of his Gettysburg book. I think it was Second Day at Gettysburg, but it begins with the lead up, and in the chapter 4, he talks about the various Union Army Corps marching into Pennsylvania to meet Lee's army at Gettysburg, and he cites a story written by a fellow named Judson, who wrote the regimental history of the 83rd Pennsylvania, which was part of Vincent's brigade. And they were Pennsylvanians, pretty much all of them. And they were, regardless of the circumstances, fairly excited about returning home, defend their native soil. And Judson writes, when the 83rd crossed the Mason-Dixon line, they were ordered to unfurl their colors. When armies are moving slowly, trudging through the countryside, they kind of do it in a fairly informal manner, route stepping. But occasionally they straighten up, bust out the flags, and get into a tight marching formation. And the 83rd decided upon entering Pennsylvania that they would do such a thing. They unfurled their colors, and they had the fifes and drums strike up Yankee Doodle. And they marched proudly into their home state. They did it again when they entered through the town of Hanover, again to show off a little bit, let everybody know that their native sons have returned to defend. Now, they don't tell you which version of Yankee Doodle they played. So, I'm going to play two versions of Yankee Doodle, one right after the other. Growing up, one was called Yankee Doodle Old, the other one was called Yankee Doodle New. But a music scholar friend of mine once indicated to me that, well, really there isn't much difference in terms of when the tunes existed. They did exist simultaneously at one point. So here we are with Yankee Doodle for the old 83rd PA, the old and the new. The old 83rd. Thanks. Hi, tune number 2 today. We're using our Firth and Pond reproduction with the original finger holes. So They're tiny, but they did the job outdoors for sure. And somebody had to be playing one of these amongst the field musicians of the Army of the Potomac. Made New York, Firth and Pond, a great downtown New York company. Reproduction by Ron Peeler, by the way. So we started with the 83rd Pennsylvania and Yankee Doodle. Another tune specifically mentioned in the histories pertaining to the battle that day. One I've always enjoyed, and I always thought it was cool that it was specifically mentioned. I'm quoting here from the blog of the NPS on the anniversary of the battle, which pretty much sums up the tune we're about to play. And the blog goes as this: the march to Gettysburg on July 1st was expected to be a routine, and the soldiers were in high spirits at the good food they might get and the pretty girls they might see in this northern town. About 2 miles south of the Gettysburg, Lieutenant Colonel Rufus Dawes, commanding the 6th Wisconsin Infantry, had the regiment unfurl their colors, and the fifes and drums began to play in order to make a show when they marched into Gettysburg. Dawes remembered later that the musicians were playing "The Campbells Are Coming" when they heard the sound of artillery fire, and the orders came down to the brigade to march across country in the direction of the firing. So this was the Iron Brigade, the fellows in the black hats, Wisconsin and Michigan boys. And here they were marching into town, not knowing what was about to occur, and then I started hearing the firing. Just as the band was striking up, "The Campbells Are Coming." And, well, the Iron Brigade was coming at that point on the first day of the Gettysburg battle. So here's "The Campbells Are Coming." The Campbells Are Coming. Hoorah. Good running tune. Tune number 3 on today's special Gettysburg Pandemic Jam. A little thunder outside. It's going to be very summery type of weather out there. The connection to this tune is kind of different from the first two. The first two, and I was happy to find the first two specifically mentioned in sources, primary sources, related to the battle. This tune has a sort of backwards relationship, but it's a good tune and it's a fun relationship too. This tune you would have heard if you watched the movie Gettysburg, being played by a fife and drum corps as the first day's battle begins for the Union Army. Oddly enough, it's used in a scene where the Iron Brigade is marching, double-quicking into the fight. And you'd say, wait, we already know what tune was being played for that situation. That was "Campbells Are Coming." Major Colonel Dawes said so. Yeah, that would have been the case. But here's the thing about Hollywood and movies. The fife and drum group of extra great players, friends of mine from different corps in the various regions around here in the Northeast, in the Midwest. They were ready and willing and able to play "The Campbells Are Coming" as history dictated, but they were warming up, kind of playing around with this tune, and the director heard it and decided that the director decided he liked this tune better than the historically correct tune. Now it's a good tune, but if you know what's right, why wouldn't you play what's right? Well, that's Hollywood. That's why read books for history, watch movies for fun. So this tune was played instead. As you're watching the film, you'll hear it. And actually, the film's composer of the soundtrack took the melody from this tune and made some pretty cool stuff with it as well. The tune, of course, I'm referring to is called "Hell on the Wabash." It is it's an old tune. It appears in a book called the Bruce and Fifers and Drummers Guide, what we call the Bruce and Emmett. Growing up playing fife and drum was always fun to find these old books, and a tune with the name Hell in the title apparently was scandalous because they would never spell the word hell out. They would either cross out the L's and just HE dash dash on the Wabash or H dash LL on the Wabash, because hell is a profanity or something, I don't know. Anyway, so HELL on the Wabash from the Bruce and Emmett. Here we go. Pretty quick, eh? Yeah, Hell on the Wabash, star of stage, screen, and soundtrack record. I was hoping I could find a fourth one, and this one is going to be a lot of fun. The fourth tune for our Gettysburg retrospect. We're balancing things out because we have two historically accurate tunes, two tunes associated directly with the battle's resources, and then we have two tunes that were around, but we don't know if they were played in the battle specifically. We just, know the potential existed, but they were played in the movie. So the first movie tune we did was Hell on the Wabash. The next movie tune I'm going to do, and the last one for today, is a tune called "A Frog in the Well." And if you're looking for it in the film, it's the tune that the field music plays when the 20th Maine steps off to go marching to the town of Gettysburg. So you'll scroll to that part of the film if you're watching it, if you're a fan. If you're not, you don't give a hoot, well, it's a good tune anyway. So here's Frog in the Well. Okay, that's it for today. The normal episode of Pandemic Jam is going to be more of a 4th of July bend to it, maybe some 18th century stuff. But this was our July 1st Battle of Gettysburg Anniversary Special Edition. Those 4 tunes, some weird connections, some direct, some not so direct, to the events of the battle. And wash your hands and wear a mask. And I'll see you soon.